an elected office seat. And forgive me for reading from this. The attorney further stated that the town board must agree collectively on how to proceed. He further indicated New York State town law compels the board to determine its own procedure, or they could rely on past practice.
Right.
In the past, there has never been a split board, and there has only been one candidate for the position. This year we have, unfortunately, a split board with many, many applicants for the town council position. There has been no past precedence set under this current situation. So to comply with New York State law, we must agree on a way to proceed to fill this all-important vacancy on our town board. Therefore, if I may, I am suggesting the following procedures to move forward. Out of the many candidates who have applied, let us each pick one who we believe is the most qualified and experienced. The process that was used at the last board meeting, and for the benefit of those who were not here, as Madam Supervisor indicated, the video of which is not available, it was not authorized by the town board as required under New York State town law. The town board should have agreed to the procedure prior to it being implemented. The community has a right to know who each of us believes and why we believe our individual selection is the best person to represent the community. Therefore, I am making a motion now to appoint Joseph Norton to the open town board position for the following reasons. We need someone who has extensive town budget experience, and as the Democratic supervisor, Mr. Norton has had that experience. In fact, as town supervisor, Mr. Norton cut property taxes by 8%. Now look where we are on the federal level with our exploding federal deficit. Look where we are on the state level. According to Governor Patterson, aid to schools will be cut, which means higher school taxes. According to Governor Patterson, aid to municipalities will also be cut, which means higher town taxes. The newspapers have recently reported that if Governor Patterson's budget is approved, towns and villages will have to cut spending or spend their savings to account for the reduction in aid to municipalities. We have heard, as Madam Supervisor reported, there are various county legislative pass-throughs. Most recently, the cost of the elections will be passed to us. Madam Supervisor also reported that our mortgage tax revenue is down $25,000, less than expected, and we have several expenditures that are already over budget. Since Mr. Norton was the town supervisor, there will be no need for a learning curve. He is extensively familiar with all the issues facing the town today, and there are many. Therefore, I want to make a motion now to appoint Joseph Norton to the open town council position.
I'll second that.
Discussion? I will give my reasons why I will not vote for Mr. Norton. I would also, before I do that, like to say that my understanding of that telephone conversation was that the town may choose to institute a procedure for filling a vacancy on the board. However, if there is no such procedure, which there is not at this time, the board will rely on past practice, which has been for the supervisor to present a name and for the board to vote. Therefore, we have a different understanding of that phone conversation. I feel that I brought this up before, and I'll bring it up again. 3 reasons why I will not vote for Mr. Norton. 1, he was a Democratic supervisor here, and this has nothing to do with my not voting for him, but I want to make it clear. He is no longer a Democrat. He is a Republican. I am very happy to vote for a Republican, but I will not vote for Mr. Norton because I feel that he was not elected a second time, and this is the people speaking in the past about that term of office. And secondly, I feel from my memory of that term, it was very contentious and divisive. And I think that we need someone in this place who is going to be cooperative and collegial. And thirdly, I don't think we should vote for any applicant who has not really been involved recently. And Mr. Norton has come in at the 11th hour, has not been involved in town politics for quite some time, and is presenting his name. And I would prefer to vote for people who have been recently involved in the town. And those are my reasons, so I will not vote for Mr. Norton.
Is there any other discussion? All right, I'd like to I'll bring it to a vote. All those in favor?
Yes.
All those opposed?
No.
Well, I nominate for the open seat of the town board,
Recognized? You recognize him?
Chris Flynn.
No, you have to.
I'm sorry, Madam Supervisor. May I recommend a nomination for the open seat of the town board,
Yes, you may.
Chris Flynn,
I second it.
for the reasons are, he has run for the seat of town supervisor. He's been very active in the town. He's on the ZBA board. He's had a lot of experience with that. He's also involved with the Little League and soccer, and he's known throughout the community, and I think he would be an asset to the town.
Chris Flynn is somebody who's known to all of us, most of us. He was the Republican candidate for the supervisor position in the last election. For those of you who don't know Chris, as Tom just said, he's been on the ZBA for 7 years. When I was the liaison from the town board to the zoning board of appeals, I watched Chris make thoughtful and wise decisions, fair decisions, always having done his homework before he came to the meetings. And I was very impressed with that. He's been an active volunteer, as Tom pointed out, in community activities. I'm grateful to Chris for coming up and offering his name. I've never been a partisan person, ever, in government. You might remember that I endorsed Mark Molinaro, the Republican assemblyman, state assemblyman, in his last election, because I thought he was the better candidate to serve all of us in his district. Will be delighted to vote for Chris Flynn to fill the town board vacancy.
I'd just like to say I'm glad that being a last-minute applicant, that we haven't heard that nobody knows you well enough to vote for you. I must say, Chris, I've been very impressed with your readiness and your approachability and your congenial nature about working on the board.
I'll make one more comment, Chris, and that is, as my worthy opponent in the last election, we had a number of conversations and a chance to exchange ideas, and I had great respect for Chris's thoughtfulness and dedication, and his ability and my ability, but our ability together to disagree and to find some common ground and to talk together with civility. So I'd like to call it to a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All right. Would you like to come up and be sworn in?
Swear him in and get some business done here. How about it?